You have reached Red Steele's Historical Review. I'm your man, Red Steele, and today I'll be reviewing from G.I. Joe Classified Series, Gung Ho. G.I. Joe Classified Series, Gung Ho. But before I get to the actual review, just want to go over some of the old school details on this packaging. Up front here, Timber Blister tray showing you both the figure and all the accessories inside. Up in the corner you have a 4+, which is the age requirement for this figure. The other corner here you have a warning label. Down here you have the G.I. Joe logo, and down here it says Gung Ho. Below that you have this beautiful old school illustration of Gung Ho. In the corner here you have the old school Hasbro emblem. On the back of the packaging here, on the very top, you have the G.I. Joe logo. Then over here a file card that reads Gung Ho. Below that you have a profile shot of Gung Ho, and down here G.I. Joe. Over here it says his real name is Etienne R. Lafitte. Role, Marine. Primary military specialty, Recondo. Secondary specialty, Jungle Warfare. Birthplace, Fer-de-Lance, Louisiana. Over here it says, born into a large back swamp Cajun clan, Gung Ho won a reputation as a bare-knuckle brawler, joined the Marines at 18, and graduated top of class from boot camp. Then down here you have a cross of all the other available figures. G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Cardback Gung Ho. Gung Ho was released on January 1st, 2023 with the suggested retail price of $24.99, and he was available exclusively at Walmart. Gung Ho was released along with the other G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Cardback Wave 1 figures, Lady J, Baroness, and Destro. Gung Ho has multiple points of articulation for dynamic posability. His accessories include his assault rifle, pistol, hat, jungle backpack, and display stand. Gung Ho stands 6 inches tall, and he is meant for fans ages 4 and up. I have Gung Ho on my display table, so we'll go over some of his play features and accessories first by talking about his display stand. And these display stands are exclusive to the Retro Cardback figures, and they did not come with the original mainline G.I. Joe Classified Series figures, which is kind of a bummer because I do have a lot of figures that could have utilized these stands, because some of these figures do have a small base where they do tend to fall over a lot, and these stands would have prevented that from happening. But these stands have some great detail here. Gung Ho especially, you got this G.I. Joe insignia right here that's a molded detail. Gets a little groove in the front here, which I'm not sure if that's made for a nameplate or not. You have these two pegs right here. In order to put Gung Ho on these display stands, on his feet you have a porthole right there and right there. You want to line them with these pegs. You want to peg them right into place. And now you have Gung Ho on his display stand, which is perfect for purposes of this review, because when I do rotate these figures around, there's high risk of these figures falling over, like I said, because they have a small base on the bottom. They tend to be a little bit top heavy when they're especially all geared up. But now it's nice to have these stands here, because even when they're displayed on my stand, and I tend to bump into my stands once in a while, and on my, knock one figure over, you knock them all over. These stands kind of prevent that from happening. But the first accessory I want to bring in is Gung Ho's trademark hat. And this hat has such great detail. I mean, just the texture has that cloth feel to it. You get that weird detail to it. You even got like wrinkles, like cloth wrinkle details. You get the Marine emblem in the front here. Even the bill of the hat right here has that sew detail right here. You got stitch lines right here. It's very, very nicely done. On this head, he has this groove right here. This groove fits perfectly on his head. So, I mean, if you look at Gung Ho, his face sculpt is just so nicely done. He's got that menacing look. But once you put this hat on, you're reminded of the lovable Gung Ho from the All-American Hero series from the 80s. Very, very, very nicely done. Because the next accessory I want to bring in is his jungle backpack. And it's molded out of that trademark light green that Gung Ho is known for in the 80s. I mean, they didn't really go too far into detail with these figures. I mean, the mold detail is fantastic. You got this cloth detail again that carried over from the hat. Got a lot of straps right here, pocket details. Very nicely done. Even on the inside of the backpack where you would have figured they would have skipped on some detail because it is going to be on his back. So you're not really going to see the backpack, so why put any detail in there? Well, they did. They put strap detailing, has some pocket detail right there. Very, very nicely done. In order to put this backpack on Gung Ho, you have this peg right here. You turn Gung Ho all the way around. In the center of his vest right here, you have a porthole. You want to line it up with the porthole in his back. And what you want to do is you want to take this backpack, just peg it right into place just like that, and now you have Gung Ho with his trademark backpack. Very, very nicely done figure. This figure is fantastic, and this figure is one of the figures that got me into the retro cardback figure because, I mean, these G.I. Joe Classified series aren't cheap, but the retro cardback figures they're a great throwback. So, I mean, with the mainline G.I. Joe Classified series figures, you have the actual vintage figures that are updated to kind of look like what they would look like in modern times. Well, us old school fans, we do enjoy the retro look, and I'm glad that they brought over this version of Gung Ho, because the other version of Gung Ho that came out with the mainline Classified series, he was cool, but he just was not Gung Ho to me. He kind of had like that weird reverse mohawk where he kind of looked like the UFC fighter Chuck Liddell. He just did not look like Gung Ho to me. The next accessory I want to go ahead and bring in is his pistol. And this pistol's got some nice detail also. I'm not sure if you guys focused in on it. You got handle detail, you got stock detail, barrel detail, trigger detail. You even have that little cartridge on the bottom that's sticking out of the bottom of the handle. Very, very nicely done. Ordered arm Gung Ho with the pistol. I do tend to pry open the hands because they do conform to the original shape, but that's only to slip in the handle, in the fist. And you can slide the trigger finger right around the trigger hole right there. And now you have Gung Ho armed with this pistol. And the nice thing about each one of these G.I. Joe Classified series figures is all the hands do have like a trigger finger. So if you want to arm them with a pistol or with a rifle, you have the option of wrapping the trigger finger inside the trigger hole. Very, very nicely done. And these pistols have such nice detail that you even have a little hole where the barrel is. You know, I'm not sure if you could plug in small little blast effects because G.I. Joe Classified series figures don't really come with a lot of blast effects. But I mean, in the entirety of a lot of that Hasbro action figure lines, you can acquire some blast effects that you'll be able to plug in there. Very, very cool. Another unique gimmick that I really enjoy about the G.I. Joe Classified series figures is you have holsters where you can store some of your weapons in, which is very, very cool. So you can take the pistol and slide it right onto this holster that's on his hip. Very, very nicely done. And that's a detail that was kind of neglected or was left out of the original toy line, because if you had a detail like this on the original toy line, it was a molded detail and you would not be able to pull that trigger out of the holster. And I love the modern action figure lines where you're able to utilize these holsters and actually pull out the actual weapons from the holsters. Let's see if I can slide this pistol down a little bit further. I mean, you do have this grenade detail right here, these shells right here that are actual mold detail. But I mean, even with the strap or the holster or the strap that's holding these shells in, they do move around, so it is a separate entity to the actual figure. It's not like molded onto his actual leg. Very, very cool detail. But the next accessory I want to bring in is his dagger. And this dagger has some awesome mold detail also, because the blade's actually painted out of a metallic silver paint. You got some nice handle detail right here. I mean, the blade is sharp, but not sharp enough to cause any harm, and it's pointed too. But not pointed enough where it causes any harm unless you like intentionally poke someone in the eye with one of these. That will cause some damage. But you arm it the same way. You slide it right into his fist, and now you have Gung Ho armed with his dagger. Very, very cool. But you also can store his dagger on his boot. And you get this little holster right here. You just slide it right in, just like that. And now you have Gung Ho with his dagger stored onto his boot. Very, very nicely done. And this is actually another molded detail that's separate. You can slide up and down. I'm not sure if you can take it off. I'm sure you can. But very, very nicely done. So the last accessory I want to bring in is Gung Ho's rifle. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a grenade launcher or if it's just a regular rifle. You can see where you can like cock it. Get the handle right here. You get the stock detail, barrel detail. Very, very nicely done. You've got a handle or a strap detail where you can store it. But I don't see any sense of storing it because you got the backpack right here. And you know, back in the 80s, since they didn't have holsters to store your weapons, they did include straps on a weapon so you could strap it over your G.I. Joe figure's shoulders, you know, if they weren't using it. But with this figure, I mean, if you wanted to put it over his arm, over his shoulder like that, I mean, it's very doable. It's kind of stiff, so it's not going to look great. But I would go ahead and arm Gung Ho with this rifle, and I'm gonna arm it from the inside because you want the strap on the inside. Slide the handle to the fist. I'm not gonna bother prying open the hand, and just slide the trigger finger into the trigger hole, just like that. Now you have Gung Ho armed with his rifle. Very, very sweet looking figure. I mean, Gung Ho with all of his accessories on, I mean, it's Gung Ho to me. I mean, you take the hat off, he looks like a mean, bald Marine, but I mean, he's still Gung Ho to me. He's a great figure. I mean, even with the tattoo detail on his chest, that's trademark for him. I mean, modern times, you're not gonna see too many guys walking around with just a vest on like that. You know, got the camo, you know, like the lighter green, which is vintage. I mean, with the original Classified series Gung Ho, he did have that modern look where he did look, you know, atypical Marine modern times. But I mean, Gung Ho is not Gung Ho unless he's wearing the light green, the hat, the open vest with the tattoo chest. It's just a great figure, such great detail. I mean, even with the articulation, even the arm detail, you can see the vein detail in the arms. I mean, so much detail in his figure, so nicely done. You know, even the face sculpt is nicely done. He's got that mean mug. I mean, we know Gung Ho is a lighthearted character in the actual series, at least the cartoon series. Not sure in a comic book too much. But I mean, he is a soldier and he is a Marine, and Marines are very, very tough. But I'm going to rotate around so you can see what it looks like from all angles. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. And while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. I want to thank you guys for watching. Brad Steele's Off Toy Click Review. I'll check you guys out next time.